Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're talking about low fuel motorsport, otherwise known as LFM. Basically what LFM is, it's an online website that has a bunch of different games on it. So you've got Assetto Corsa Competizione, Assetto Corsa, AMS2, WRC, and it's basically an online league. So you can sign up for races and then in the game you'll join that race, and it's got a whole rating system, it's got a safety rating, and it's very similar to how iRacing works in regards to their skill-based system, where it'll put you in, certain splits depending on how quick you are and what your rating is. And the races tend to be pretty clean because it's got reporting in them. Now here we are on the website, and once you sign up and do your kind of practice runs and you get your license and stuff, this is what you will be shown with. There's plenty of videos on that on YouTube, so I'm sure you can just YouTube that to figure out how to kind of get it all set up. It's not very difficult, it's pretty straightforward. So once you've completed everything, you've got your license, you will come to this screen here. So you can see what season we're up to. We're up to season 16, week 9, and you've got all the different series and races that you can join. So with GT3 races, you'll start off in the rookie series, and then once you get your safety rating up, you'll join the normal series. So if you want to join a race, you can see you got the Sync Mesh GT3 series. The next one is in 42 minutes. So I click on it, and then it'll take me to this page. I scroll down, and then I find the race that I want to sign up for. So it'll be this one at 5 PM. As you can see, this race here is actually cancelled. That's because there weren't enough people that signed up for it. Unfortunately, being in Australia, we don't have a lot of people racing, so for me to get races, I have to probably race at around 10 PM onwards. But in America, UK, Europe and stuff like that, your normal times, you've always got people racing. There's got thousands of people. So let's say I want to do this 5 PM race. I click sign up. I choose a car that I want to race with, so mine would be the BMW M4 GT3. Then I tick all the boxes saying that I've read the code of conduct, and I would recommend reading it all as well. I think they make you read it, I'm not quite sure, but you definitely want to read it. And because you can't use in-game chat, you can't obviously ram players off, and you should report incidents if they happen to you. And basically this is just you saying, yep, okay, I understand everything. And then you click sign me up. And then once you've signed up, you'll see on the left hand side of the screen, it'll pop up with the series that you've signed up for. So you've got my GT3 series, I've got the sign out time. So if you can't make the race, you can sign out of it, which is good. That's like, say, 5 minutes before it actually starts. So you can see here, server start 43 minutes, sign out 38 minutes. Got the number, so if you click on that, it'll actually copy it to your clipboard, and then when you go into ACC, you can Control V and search for the server. Then I'll show you how to do that. You've got the amount of people that have signed up for it, and then you've got the split that you're in. Now you definitely want to keep an eye on the split, because as more people join, obviously depending on what you're rating in and what their rating is, you will move around in the splits. So you want to check this basically as the server's starting, make sure that you haven't been moved to, say, split 2 or split 3 or something, because if you sign up early, you'll normally always start off at split 1. So once you're in ACC, you want to click multiplayer, make sure you've got the car that you've chosen. So mine was the M4, server list, loads up, and then you want to click here, go Control V, paste the numbers, and then enter. And once the server's up, like when the, say, it starts at 5, it'll actually pop up here with server 1, server 2, server 3, and then it'll have the different splits. You want to join the right split that you got allocated to. Now, obviously nothing's popping up now because the servers haven't started yet, but if I was to search at 5, then it should pop up. Sometimes it does take a few minutes, so don't stress too much. And for whatever reason, if it doesn't pop up, then they normally just cancel it and you don't lose any rating or anything like that. Now, when the server does pop up, it'll actually ask you for a password. So the password is just LFM, no capitals, and then you just press enter, and then you should join. This obviously isn't the LFM server, but this is where it would pop up down here. Now after your first few races, you'll start seeing your SR rating and your skill rating. So you can see mine's 2,494 and my SR is 7. So obviously your skill rating is basically just based on where you place in the race, and your safety rating, which is your SR rating, is basically how safe you are. So if they work it out kind of per corner. So let's just say you're doing a long race, it's a 45-minute race. It's basically a ratio of incidents per corner. So if you're doing a track like Nürburgring, like the Nordschleife, then obviously it's got a lot of corners. So if you don't make any mistakes, your safety rating is going to boost up heaps. And then to add to that, so if you say get taken out T1 or whatever it is, you'll get incident points, and then those incident points will affect your safety rating. But the thing is that if you keep on going throughout the race, as it does average out per corner and throughout the race, you can kind of even it out. So it takes a while to grow it, and then it is a little bit harder in the rookie series, obviously, because people are learning and stuff. But you just got to slowly grind it, and then eventually you'll get your safety rating up, and you'll eventually make it to the other series as well. Alright guys, let's talk about the lobbies now. Now when you come into a session, there will be a practice session, there will be a qualifying session, and there will be a race session. Now, in the practice session, you aren't allowed to go on track, so you want to stay in the pits. You can use the chat, I'm pretty sure, but you can't go out on track. You'll actually get reported and penalised if you do that. Then that only goes for 2 minutes anyway, so you don't really have to wait for too long, maybe just muck around with your setup and stuff like that. Then the qualifying session will start. It's normally around 15 minutes, and that's when everyone will go on track and do their qualifying. So you are on track with a lot of people at once, so there are some rules you have to take into account, and there are some code of conduct stuff that you have to understand too. First things first is that when everyone's on their first out lap, so when they first leave the pits, you have to make sure that you don't overtake anyone in sector 3. So everyone will actually get to the end of the lap and they'll bank up and they'll start creating their own space. So if you see a bunch of people slowing down, especially on the first out lap, don't overtake them. Just, make your own space as well. And then once everyone starts taking up, then you'll kind of be fine. I reckon a good gap is around 2 seconds or so. Now, there is another thing to note as well, is that when you are doing your qualifying runs, if you're on a hot lap and someone else is on a hot lap, if you were going quicker than them, you can't overtake them. The only way you can overtake them is if you don't impede their lap. So you really want to make sure that you get a gap, especially if you've got someone in front of you that might not be as quick, because if you're both on hot laps, there's nothing you can do. It's your fault for being behind and not creating a gap. Now, same thing goes if you're on your hot lap and you've got someone behind you that's on your ass, then it's not your fault. You just do your hot lap. They can't overtake you. If they overtake you, you can report them. So yeah, that was my lap. That was the best lap I did. It was a 1:28.0. Managed to get me to P7. Now the 45-minute races will start with the full formation lap, and then the 25-minute races will be just the couple of corners at the end. Now you definitely want to make sure that you keep your tyres and your brakes kind of up to temperature. So what I'll do is I'll accelerate, and as you can see on the bottom right, I'll actually be braking, so you can keep especially the brake temperature up, because that'll keep the tyre temperature up. So here we are, just maintaining our speed, not going too fast, not going too slow. If you're out of position, you will get a drive-through penalty. Green lights, and off we go. Now I've got this driver on my right, so I'm going to stay left, give him plenty of room. I really don't want to make contact into turn 1. As you can see, I go around and get a little bit of oversteer, and then I go wide, but at that point it's like, if someone's going to complain about that, talk to the stewards. I don't want to get into any trouble, I don't want to hit anyone, I'm better off going wide there. I've still got that Porsche to my right, so I'm just giving him space and going around the outside. Go a little bit wide, but I think I just stayed in track limits in. So I slot in behind the Porsche. You do not want to be the one that makes contact, especially in the first lap. You get massive penalties. So I'm staying behind him, I'm trying to hit my braking points, and here unfortunately the BMW gets spun out. I get hit in the hind from the Ferrari because I try to slow down, and then that's it, I'm stuck. Now you do not want to move when all the cars are going by. You do not want to move. You want to hold your brakes if you get into an accident. At this point I'm like, damn, I think I ended up getting 15 seconds of damage. I was like, alright, I'm basically practically last. This is going to be a last to wherever I can make it. 3 laps go by, I managed to get behind this Serpenev guy, this Ferrari. I think he had a bit of damage on the front as well. I could see that, he was fighting with this McLaren. And I was like, okay, you know what? He goes to the right. I was thinking now, should I go with him? And then I made the decision to do that. I went behind him, followed him through, down to second, down to first actually, and just get the launch out of that. That McLaren in behind us was actually a bit slow, and I was like, I didn't know if he had damage or not. But I was worried that he was maybe going to outbrake himself here, so I was looking in my mirrors and stuff. I brake, I was looking at my mirrors, and then he got so close to the rear of me there. We're okay. Now this Serpenev guy was he wasn't a slow driver, but this Porsche in front was being a bit difficult for him. So again, another couple laps go by, that Ferrari nearly just reversed into us as well. So just remember that if you do get into an accident, just hold your brakes, let people go around you. 'Cause if you don't hold your brakes, or even if you enter the track unsafely, you will get massive penalties. Here we're just staying on the tail of the Ferrari. We're just trying to stay really close to him. And it's especially hard because I got around 15 seconds of damage on the rear, like I said, so my top speed really isn't that quick, and I was getting a lot of oversteer. This Porsche brakes super early. The Serpent Ferrari has to go wide. I cut through the inside, and I make the move happen. And I know I was like, okay, I just need to keep going here, because again, that Serpent guy I don't think was that slow, so I want to try and get past this Porsche before he backs me up, and then the Ferrari behind can maybe make a move. I'm going through, and I was getting a lot of oversteer. For some reason I went down to second. I don't know why I did that. Do not go down to second on turn 1 at the Red Bull Ring. It'll not work out well for you. And yeah, so I'm trying to catch up. I don't really have the top speed. Slowly watching this, what's his name, Ulanov, this Porsche number 24. And I'm catching him every corner. So the first corner I obviously made that mistake, but second corner I've caught him. And here I'm like, okay, I'm a bit close. Maybe I'll, go a little bit to the right, see if he moves. And he actually reacts, and that would have compromised his entry into this corner here. I'm just saying, nice and close. I do get a really good exit here. And I'm seeing if he defends. He doesn't defend, so I'll go around the inside. Give him plenty of space. I don't want to make contact and make the move. Get into second, get the rotation going on the car. And then, bang, there you go. Now, that was lap 7. And as you can see, I'm just still getting so much oversteer. That was an amazing line anyway. But then I'm slowly catching up to these guys in front. So there's got 5 in front, I think, where you can see Smith, Penrose, Barnes. And you can see now they're kind of really here, and they're not really overtaking each other at all. So again, it's lap 11. I'm like, these guys are going to slow me down for sure. I was like, you know what? Let's go into the pits. I don't want to have to overtake 5 cars on track. I go into the pits. I do brake a bit early here with the pit stop bar. Again, I had damage. I didn't know exactly where to brake. Normally you brake just as kind of it turns in. And then hitting my pit stop, and now I can relax. I'm like, oh, okay. Nice and easy. Decent effort. I managed to get to P15, sorry, before I pitted. So I want to see how this works with the undercut. So realistically, the places I could have gained were up to P12. So that would have been the 5 drivers, 2 of them were on blue flags, and then the 3 that were in front, that were actually full position. It's going to take a few laps until I get those positions back, but I think it should be worth it. When I'm coming out of the pits, I'm basically with 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. These guys are all coming through, so I'm like, okay, that could have been a bit better, but, I don't want to impede their laps. Now, blue flags in GT3 racing basically means that if you have the blue flag, you don't have to give them way, you don't have to slow down, but you just can't defend them when they overtake. So I go pretty deep into that corner there, and this Bentley is right behind me now. So, he's flashing me, he's telling me to get out of the way. I don't think he's close enough to basically just let him through right now, so I'm just going to continue with my line. I brake on the 100 board. He does, kind of go for something there. Maybe that was just his line that he was taking. And at this point, he's really close, so I put my blinker on. You can see on the bottom right next to the tyres. And then letting this guy know I'm going to stay to the right, let him drive up the inside, and all goes well. I don't think we really lost that much time there. I actually managed to stay behind them for a bit. I was pretty much on par with their pace. And I think I ended up getting a 128.0 as a best lap while I was behind these guys here. So they ended up pitting, the order kind of reshifted. It's currently lap 16 and I'm P16, so I want to see how this undercut worked. By the time I got to lap 17, I was P15 to P14. Lap 18, I got to P13, as you can see on the top left. So the undercut's working, and then fortunately by lap 19, I got to position 12. So the undercut worked. I managed to overtake around 5 cars basically off track just by doing the undercut. Unfortunately from there, not really much happened after that. So, got to lap 27, I'm still in P12. I managed to catch up to Colchin, but, just with the rear damage and the tyres kind of going off, I just couldn't get the top speed up. I just couldn't catch this guy. Look, I'm 0.3 behind, and the whole time just flat-footed, even with the slipstream, I could not catch up at all. Going into turn 2 here, I do get a decent run. He just gets an awesome exit out of that. He kind of rubber bands forward a bit. And here again, I'm at 0.2. You know, with the slipstream, I'm getting to 0.1, but I'm really not gaining any ground because of that damage on the rear. Could not get the top speed up. Here, you know, with brake, I'm kind of keeping with him. By this time, my tyres were starting to go off, and he did have a bit newer tyres, obviously, because he did pit later. Changing to TC3 because these other corners here, I was getting a lot of oversteer. And then, yeah, lap 30, he managed to get, you know, another 6-7 tenths in front of me after a couple of laps. And at this point, I was like, you know what, let's just kind of bring it home. Unfortunately, yes, we did get taken out at turn 3, but, you know, what are you going to do about it? You can't do much. You're better off, of course, just doing the race, trying to get your safety rating back up. And I think, you know, back to 12th is a pretty good recovery drive. We made a lot of overtakes. We made some good decisions, especially with the pits. And yeah, I know this was just a little short walkthrough of the race, but I hope you guys enjoyed. P12 at the Red Bull Ring. If you guys did enjoy the video and learnt a little bit more about LFM and whether it's something you guys want to try, then please like and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. I'll see you guys in the next video.